this is like something I've never seen before. I've never seen the inability to search a celebrity.
I mean, what that would require would be the company actually shutting down that capability, right? Removing her from the search engine.
Yeah.
I would assume then that Taylor Swift, her people got in touch with this company and said, we don't want that kind of accessibility anymore.
I think so. It's the only thing
That's
that makes
crazy.
sense. People are saying, Kayla needs to let it go. So I thought it was a cute commercial she did for the Super Bowl.
That Opalite song, she directly shades Kayla Nicole. And this is in the song that
Yeah.
Travis felt lonely, couldn't figure out why he was lonely in this relationship, but it turns out that his gal was more interested in being on her phone and using him as a PR prop, basically, was the insinuation. I mean, this is Taylor Swift attacking his ex for no reason. Why? And she does it all the time with her own exes. She outed Matt Healy for a drug relapse, said in her song that he was trying to buy pills from a friend of a friend and they ghosted him. Ha ha ha. And then also she writes multiple songs in which she complains about what a drag Joe Alwyn was because he was so depressed all the time.
The problem or the monster she's created within the brand is the gamification. So the Easter eggs, you're priming, it's literally called priming your audience to search for clues and then figure out who it is. So you hear about like this depressed ex and dragging me down. Now he's apparently the Rock, like physically a rock represented by a rock in the Opalite video. Well, the audience is primed to put the clues together to figure out it's Joe Alwyn. And then it also keeps her on this like one step back of plausible deniability. Like I didn't tell anyone that.
Exactly. It's the hypocrisy of it. And I'm not doing what you all see, I'm plainly doing aspect is just, it's so irritating. I know that there's some in my audience who are like, why do you have to keep talking about Taylor Swift? But it's been really an eye-opener for me, though, finally paying attention to this huge cultural phenomenon that I've really ignored my whole life. Dude, this Scooter Braun guy did not come to your house and steal a bunch of money from you. So I've found one of the few people online who's willing to talk honestly about Taylor Swift. And this is Ashley Brianna Eve. You've probably caught some of her coverage of the Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively fiasco as well. So I've been watching your videos for a while. You are a branding and PR strategist. I noticed that you come to the table with a lot of analytical data about what's going on online and favorability stats and those types of things. And I always appreciate some of your numbers-based analysis, especially. But you've been tracking Taylor Swift, and before we got on, you said that you had found something interesting about her popularity online or something she had done recently.
Yes. So I've tracked Taylor for ages. I've used her as both a great example of branding psychology as well as a warning of like the line between ethical branding psychology and when it starts to slip into being unethical. And so I've tracked her in what's called social listening tools. So PR people have social listening tools, and you can basically see like what's going good for someone, what's the negative, what's the positive. It'll break down the mentions. I've followed her for years in this. In fact, about 12 days ago, I did a video breaking down how negative sentiment was spiking for her. All of a sudden, now you can't search her in these tools. So in the tools I've used for years as a professional and in my social media content, you can't search her. It looks like she's completely removed the ability to check how things are going with her brand, which is crazy. I've never seen this.
So you're saying that prior to this, you were able to search her name, and in these tools, using these tools, it would tell you about basically the status of her brand based on what? Based on internet searches?
Yep, you got it. So it'll track everything. You can break it down really far. Like, what are people saying on Facebook? What are people saying on X? But usually what I would do on the channel is just show everyone, like, this is what is positive for them right now. This is what is negative. And I said on the last video, for the first time ever, negative sentiment, like negative mentions of Taylor Swift, is climbing faster than positive, and positive was dropping. The craziest part, and I'm not going to call out the business or the tool I use, but the craziest part is the day after I did that video, the day after I received an email and a comment from the company I use, and it was very positive. They're like, oh, this is really great how you're using it. But then that same day they sent me an email. Now from that day forward, you can't track Taylor. And I had wondered, I thought, because we know, I mean, anyone that's followed Taylor knows that her and Tree Payne just bury, whether it's like through Google and charity events or going to the hospital, they just bury anything negative. And they have removed her name from being able to be searchable on social media tools. So we've known that's been an issue with her team, but this is like something I've never seen before. I've never seen the inability to search a celebrity.
I mean, what that would require, I would imagine, what that would require would be the company actually shutting down that capability, right? Removing her or blocking her, so to speak, from the search engine.
Yeah.
And I would assume then that Taylor Swift, her people got in touch with this company and said, we don't want that kind of accessibility anymore.
I think so. It's the only thing that makes
crazy.
sense. Isn't it?
That's I mean, everything, if what you're telling me is true, and I have no reason to doubt it, like that's pretty obvious that they are feeling some discomfort with not only the situation on social media, but with specific coverage that you are doing. Is anyone else tracking this publicly?
I don't think anyone else is using those types of tools to actually show. Like, it's one thing to say, like, this is what's happening, but I've always shown it in real time. Like, this is what the tools are saying. And
right.
I've never seen anyone else do that. And it just so happens it's the day after my video went up, I get an email from them, which again was lovely. They were very nice. But how would they ever find my video? It seems very random, right? And then all of a sudden now you can't track
Taylor Swift. Interesting. I mean, so have you ever seen a celebrity that you've tracked other celebrities then like this, right? Have you ever seen them just disappear from the search capability?
Never. I've used this professionally and on social media to teach, because even, if people look at my social media, it looks like I've only been doing this for a year, but I've been teaching courses on branding, marketing, PR for about 6-7 years now. And Taylor's been a consistent pillar of someone I've talked about and shown the stats for. And now all of a sudden you can't.
That's really interesting. Well, here's the thing. If I think about just myself as an example, I have up to recently, I have almost never covered Taylor Swift. But what comes out in those messages that were unsealed by the court recently is how manipulative and conniving and really active in this Taylor Swift was. And also she has a very, I don't know how else to put it, mean girl personality. And I even hate to use that term because people say, well, that's sexist. There's no equivalent with a man. Well, let's just say she's acted like an asshole then. I don't know, And again, people say, well, what does this matter? Well, what does, I guess, any of this celebrity drama matter, except this woman is arguably, I don't see how you could really even argue it, the most successful artist of modern times, of our time. And whether you think that's deserved or not, that comes with it. That is a powerful position. It is a culturally important position. And don't be deceived, everyone. She is not marrying Travis Kelce to run away to a quiet domesticity out of the public eye. She and Travis, more than ever, a power couple. He's trying to get gigs in Hollywood, right? He's doing a Ryan Murphy production. So my point is, like, yes, this is not U.S. Venezuelan politics in terms of its importance, but it is culturally significant. So I'm keeping an eye on her, particularly, as you know, with some of the statements that have come out or that I've just sort of discovered over the last several weeks of her talking about her very angry Me Too sort of modern feminist sentiments about things. And probably like you, I am not your traditional woman, but I think Taylor Swift has a huge chip on her shoulder about men. I don't like what she did to Maddie Healy. I don't like what she did to Joe Alwyn. I don't understand this pathological need to tear people down constantly in her songs. So I'm sorry for that diatribe there. I'll let you speak to any of that you want.
I honestly was relieved when I started to see your coverage, because I've been banging this drum by myself for a long time. I actually had a lot of people in the pro-Justin community say I'm unsubscribing from your channel, because I've been saying for a long time, like, who you see of Taylor isn't who she is. I understand the PR that goes into her brand. And another reason why I really love your coverage is what's going on with Kayla right now. Well, Kayla apparently shaded.
For people who don't know, by the way, in my audience, Kayla is the most recent ex of Travis Kelce. And anyway, a number of Taylor Swift fans have been getting on her case, right?
Yeah, they've been putting cactus emojis all over her content because apparently she's the cactus in the Opalite video. They've been just trash. It's ridiculous, like flooding her stuff.
They're also juvenile too. That's the extra thing. I mean, it's like if Taylor Swift were like an interesting sort of cultural villainess, it'd be one thing. But like she's just so, in every way except her art, she's stuck at a 6th grade developmental level. I'm just convinced of it after watching her videos online. Her talking about baking bread for like 5 minutes on that podcast. People are saying you're being mean here, but I mean, the woman, it's mind numbing. She takes a joke that should have been about 10, 15 seconds about how much I love bread. I love to bake bread. And she's so enamored with herself, and she's so like banal and vacuous. She just spreads it over like a 5-minute period talking about baking bread. I'm just like, my God. But anyway,
Yeah.
continue though. Seriously. So but you're right. There have been a lot of people in our audience. I saw it in Zach Peters' Instagram page. He posted something negative about, not super negative even really, I don't think, but negative about Taylor Swift in relation to the Blake Lively stuff. And one of the comments he got was, "This is not who you are, Zach." And I had to say to that person, do you understand who we're talking about with Taylor Swift now? This is not the Taylor that people thought she was.
Exactly. And the interesting thing for me, and what I love about your content in regards, I've just been so excited. Finally, I said to my husband, finally, someone else is calling it like it is people are saying, Kayla needs to let it go, because apparently Kayla shaded her and Taylor, or her and Travis. I thought it was a cute commercial she did for the Super Bowl. And they're what, she needs to let it go. They broke up 4 years ago. Taylor's still dragging poor Joe. So,
oh, yeah.
Taylor can do whatever she wants.
Well, that Opalite song, I don't know if people are familiar with some of the lyrics. I got in a bit of trouble on Twitter for suggesting that maybe there was a sort of a double entendre race reference there in the Onyx versus the Opalite. And I'm not going to even get into that right now, but she directly shades Kayla Nicole. She says that basically Travis, and this is in the song, that Travis felt lonely, couldn't figure out why he was lonely in this relationship, but it turns out that his gal was more interested in being on her phone and using him as a PR prop, basically was the insinuation. I mean, this is Taylor Swift attacking his ex for no reason. Why? And she does it all the time with her own exes. She outed Matt Healy for a drug relapse, said in her song that he was trying to buy pills from a friend of a friend and they ghosted him. Ha ha ha. And then also she writes multiple songs in which she complains about what a drag Joe Alwyn was because he was so depressed all the time. And so I think these petty, the way that she and Blake Lively talk to each other. I mean, my friend and I did a reading of it, where we pretended to be them.
I died. I watched it. I died.
Well, I'm glad you liked it. I'll link to it below. But I mean, when you actually like read it or hear it, it's like, seriously, this is like a Saturday Night Live skit of like 6th graders. Again, like I couldn't believe some of the ways that they were speaking to. I would be embarrassed if a text of mine came out and that's how I'm talking. Now that I've started looking into the Scooter Braun situation and I saw some of the coverage that Zach Peter did as well of this, I mean, it looks like to me this is a situation where a woman has played the martyr over a pretty straightforward business deal that I guess she came to regret after the fact, or she wished she would have been in a better position to have made a better business decision. But it's like, dude, this Scooter Braun guy did not come to your house and steal a bunch of money from you. Everything here was like above board. Am I wrong about that?
No, it was all above board the whole time. Her and I believe her dad, now don't quote me on the amount, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure her dad made 15 million, I believe, off the deal. But it was, and you can argue all day about, well, it's not fair for younger artists to be signing these contracts. That's a totally different situation and argument. I mean, the reality is she signed it, her parents signed it, they agreed to it. It was all on the
and
up
it made
and
her a gigantic star, so much so that then she had the power and the leverage to come back and guess what? Take her music back. Okay, it's solved.
Which became a whole part of the brand as well, as like Taylor's version and this triumph over, once again, being the victim of someone. It's all like when we look at branding, she really is playing chess.